Alright, this is the fucking best game in the world, and we're gonna be playing it. So, oh no. Okay, let me stop this real quick. Okay, this time it's gonna work. Please? Oh my fucking god. Okay, so yeah, this is the best game to ever exist. It's called Katamari Damacy, and there's just so much perfect about it. Like this intro section, look at this. What? And I don't know if I should just let it play or if I should skip it. But like it's just so good. There's ducks, there's giraffes, there's man singing, elephant, weird child, giant man strumming guitar, and his wife. Pandas. To be fair, I haven't actually watched this whole thing in a long time. But it's just so perfect. They're driving a car now. There's so much to like in the first 30 seconds? How long was that? I hope it was 30 seconds. That'd be funny if it's like a minute. I don't know, maybe it warps time. But yeah, this is Katamari. It's a beautiful game with beautiful art direction and beautiful everything. It's for the PS2, and it was one of the first games that I really liked. And part of it is just because the gameplay is just so satisfying. There we go. It's just so satisfying, and it's just a purely enjoyable game. It's not it's not trying to be anything it isn't. There's no I don't want to be that person who's always complaining about microtransactions, but you get the full game, and the game was completely designed just to be fun. It's not a long game. It's not gonna take 20 hours of your day. Well, I guess you could make it take that long, but probably shouldn't. But it's just so unique, and the gameplay is so fun. The graphics are perfect. They if this was an HD game for the PC right now, it would look great. It would look like an indie game. There's nothing wrong with how it looks, and I prefer the graphics of this one more than Katamari. I think it's Reroll is the new one. So basically, the king accidentally destroys all the stars. This big guy is the king. He has a bulge, and you're the little guy. You're the little green goblin, and I don't know if I should just read these. They're not really super important. It's just kind of he's monologuing about stuff, and he kind of says funny things sometimes, but honestly, what's really special about this game is the gameplay, the music, the art, the textures. Look at these textures. It's they're so low res, and they just look great. They look so stylized. And everything is simple shapes. But yeah, okay, I'm just gonna start playing the game. Basically, I'm tiny. I've played this game a lot of times. So keep that in mind. You roll around with both the analog sticks, which makes it kind of like a... I don't know how to describe it, but it's really... it takes some time to get a feel for, I think. But once you do, it becomes very intuitive, although sometimes a little slow. You can easily rotate like this and turn a corner and stuff like that. But when you're in place and you want to turn around, you kind of have to do this, unless you have both analog sticks and you can kind of swirl around. Usually when I play this, I'm hurrying to try and get the goal as fast as possible and do everything really well. But since I'm recording and talking, it's going to be a lot harder to do that. So instead, I'm going to kind of take it slower than I would a normal playthrough. And this is something that that I play fairly often. Like I'll just have a hankering for some Katamari and boot it up and just play however much I want to. And the fun just comes from how big you get from such a small size. Like this is a little taste of how much bigger you can get. And in this one, I guess it doesn't let you go over time. Some levels, I think, or maybe it's the other game that I'm thinking of, that you can get to the limit and then you can go past it because it's based on time rather than, like, there's a time limit, so you can just keep going until you hit the time limit. That's what I mean. I really like how the art looks in these little diagrams. Something about like the colors and the shading being so flat and simple is very enjoyable to me. Like the desaturated colors and, you know, the blue shadow on the side of the book, and like everything is so perfect. Just everything. I love it. But we're not gonna watch it again. So after every level, the king says stuff. I'm sorry if I'm a little snotty because sometimes I'm just like that, I guess. There's pollen in the air and it's like summer and my sinuses are now just perpetually messed up. So this is the hub world. It's cool. It's like, you know, you walk around this planet, kind of like Mario Galaxy-ish. Can't really jump or anything. It's just a hub world. It's really simple. I think you can listen to songs. No, you can just change volume, which actually isn't very common in these older games. That's really cool that you can do that. There's a little multiplayer section. If I had friends, then I could play this with them. And I think it's a versus mode. I played it with my sister when I was younger. And I really liked that you could play different characters, and you can in the second one. You can switch your guy to be one of the different, they're called cousins. You're the prince, and every one of these is your cousins. So, yeah, all the settings are here, which is kind of weird actually, but you know, it's kind of cool. You find presents in levels, and that lets you wear stuff. I'm gonna try and get some of them at least. And then you do have to manually save if you forget to save. You're gonna, don't look at the top left corner. If you don't save, then you're gonna be sad. So this is a level we already did. This is the next level. Yes, so he just speaks languages sometimes. I think it's always the introductions. I had a friend who used to live in the Philippines, and I like went to high school with him, and it was sad because it was my first year at that high school, and he, at the end of the year, he had to leave and go back to the Philippines. It's kind of sad. I haven't talked to him since. I'm not in high school anymore, so you know, I should message him. He was cool. Anecdotes aside, this is one of like the first levels that you actually get to kind of, I think you get to go past the size limit, or the like size goal. And I guess skill in this game doesn't really matter. You can try and go for really big sizes, but what's really fun is just, honestly, just picking stuff up and hearing the sound and getting it attached to your ball, to your Katamari. And like sections like this where you just pick up a billion little items at once and increase your size is just like, it's perfect. It's like, there's just so much good about this game. And maybe I'm biased because I played it as a kid. But I don't think so. I think everyone can enjoy this game. I think it's just a lot of people don't know about it, or it's not very accessible because it's just like kind of weird. But you know, it's nice. I like weird things. I think this developed my appreciation for weird stuff. I think some people can be kind of opposed to things that make them a little uncomfortable, maybe. I don't really know what it is, but it's nice to have a more open mind to certain things and just try stuff out and see if you like it or not. And if you see something weird that, like, you know, someone, like, a good example is modern art. A lot of people think it's like trash, but in most cases, art is just whatever someone makes. Like, it doesn't have to be high technical ability or high quality. Some, like, person's first drawing that they post on DeviantArt is still art. Even if it looks like scribbles, or like the cat stepped on it and laid on it and it was just covered in ink or something. That'd actually be kind of cool. Yeah, I think art is whatever you want it to be. I think a lot of people are really exclusive and say things aren't art. Certain things aren't, like, interesting, and they just completely disregard it as anything worthwhile immediately without really considering that maybe they might be wrong, and that, you know, there's a more open definition of art than just something that someone took a lot of technical time into making. A lot of technical prowess. I feel like one of the lower, the more basic of that kind of viewpoint is video game graphics in general. Like, some people could say this has bad graphics, but it has pretty good graphics, and it's just they're focusing on the wrong thing. They're focusing on the technical and what's the word? They're focusing on what's technically good versus what's interpretively and artistically good. And I'm sure that most people probably wouldn't say, oh, this game's graphics suck. I just rolled up a present. I think the one in this level is a camera that you get to wear, so it's kind of cool. I'll show you once I finish this level if I remember. But yeah, I think art is just such a broad thing. And a lot of people, art and just anything, honestly, people focus too much on the wrong thing. They focus on what they've perceived to be good their whole life without considering that they can make something good depending on how they view it. Like, there's no objective good art or objective bad art. Someone can make a perfectly 100% realistic render of an apple and, like, with a pencil or something, and that's not objectively good. It's objectively skilled and the technique is impressive, but what if the composition is bad? And what if it's only the top right corner of it? Actually, that might be interesting too. But there's just, I don't mean to literally just preach about art for this whole game. How about I talk about something else? I really like, okay, I'm gonna talk about art again. The textures in this game are really cool. Like, just the fact that they're basically just pixel art. Like, look, this is a super simple model and they just have pixel art instead of textures. I mean, they're textured pixel art. But it's just really, it's nice and simple. They probably, I bet it was based on limitation just because they had so many objects and they have to fit so many on screen without too much lag. But it's super cool. I like it. I like it a lot. I've thought about, like, mimicking this kind of art style just because I like it so much, and I wanted to learn Blender for a little bit because I was interested in it and making, like, scenes and stuff like that, but I don't know. It might not be my cup of tea. So yeah, this level you can get pretty big, but you know, I'm 10 centimeters over the goal. That's nice. And I don't know if it's this one or the next one where once you get big enough, you get like angels flying around you and stuff. So it's kind of, it feels nice. You get the objective. Oh, I got a scarf. That's what it is. So we're gonna put that on. Look real nice. This is the student star. Each star has its own name and stuff like that, but it's pretty. Ah, you know what? I skipped past the stats. I should definitely.
Come along.
I should show those.
It's time to go.
Okay.
This is the weird storyline.
This just in. The stars have suddenly vanished from the sky. The cause is being investigated.
It's really good. It's a really good storyline. So yeah, here's the presents. I have a scarf on. It's summer, but you know what? That's okay. Alright, so that's gonna be it for this episode, but you know, I'm not gonna be mystical and pretend like I'm not doing a bunch of these in one day. So see you next time.